So many moms feel stuck and isolated, like they've got to keep it all together and can't say how hard it really is. On Let's Get Real, we talk about the real stuff, motherhood, mental health, and everything in between, so you don't feel like you have to carry it alone anymore. Because in order to heal, we have to get real. If you're feeling overwhelmed, grab the Overwhelmed Mom's Guide. It's totally free and made to help you feel like yourself again. The link is in the show notes. Let's pick up where we left off. Here's part 2. Well, and I'm thinking of like you as this little girl, a 17-year-old, and how you desperately needed, what it sounds like to me, it's like you desperately needed this comfort, like a physical comfort, and you had bodies in the room and there's this physical presence of so many people, but the lack of comfort of someone coming in like to physically and emotionally hold you in your story and what just happened. And then the thought of, because like what you said, like I'm on my own, I'm alone, it's up to me to figure this out. That has been such a common theme, I know, in my own story as well, that I didn't wake up to or realize or have it named until like the past couple years. Mm-hmm. And when you were sharing that, what dawned on me is like you lost your physical father, like you lost your dad. And I would think subconsciously it's like this feeling of I'm an orphan now. Like I know I have my mom, but my dad's nowhere around. So that then it reinforces that narrative of I'm on my own because there wasn't anybody coming in to give you the care that you needed, the comfort you needed, and to hold you and all of the emotions.
Yeah. And, in writing my book, I did realize the reasoning behind that feeling is because my mom is a covert narcissist. And I didn't realize that. Like, I knew her behaviors and things like that. Her coping skill was drinking, which exacerbated abuse.
Yeah.
And I am not in any way, I'm not shaming her for that. I'm not, because everybody deals with pain and trauma differently, right? And some people use drugs and alcohol and self-destructive behavior as a coping mechanism.
Right.
And, there's no judgment in that, right? Because I didn't have their experience either. Mm-hmm. And we're all different.
Yeah.
Mine wasn't healthy either. Hiding, not taking responsibility for my own behaviors as well. And I lived in victimhood for a long time until I decided to take my power back. And that was a part of my healing as well, is just realizing, I had to learn to forgive the men that took my dad. And I didn't do it for them. I did it because I needed to take my power back and say, you can no longer have a hold over my life. I'm going to heal from this.
Yeah.
And anyone can do that, mind you.
That's powerful, though, and a much, much needed reminder, because it does not feel like that most of the time.
Yeah, it's not weakness. You're not taking them off the hook. You're not forgetting what they did or the hurt they caused or anything like that. But what you're doing is you're taking your power back. And you're saying to them, you can no longer hurt me. Mm-hmm. Whatever person hurt you, whatever thing hurt you, whatever. You are saying you can no longer hurt me anymore. I'm going to rise above this and I'm going to heal from this. And because I'm able to do that, I'm going to have an amazing life.
Yeah.
Right. And you didn't take that from me. And so, all of this came up writing a book, because it took me 4.5 years to do it. And that was because I had to be in the right mindset. I had to have done all the mental work that I needed to do in order to have the modalities and the tools to be able to pull myself out of whatever my book would send me down, whatever road, right? And I would be able to come back and not spiral. But I had to relive and be very vulnerable and very authentic about my story, but I also had to tell the story of my mother's story a bit as well, and the whole truth. And there was a lot of fear in that,
Absolutely. Yeah. There'd be a lot, because it'd feel like I need to protect this person, and am I betraying them, even though, because I think the honesty part is one of the hardest things to get to. It's like, because so often we don't realize we're not telling the whole truth because we're trying to protect, and we're keeping these things in the dark that continue to grow, and then we aren't able to heal as long as those things are unnamed and unspoken.
Yeah. And that's how I felt. I felt like, if I'm really going to do this, I'm going to do this.
Yeah. I'm going there.
I am
all the way.
I am all the way. I am totally committed. And there was fear. There was 3 fears majorly that, our relationship was, my mom and I, we were already on rocky road, and I thought, okay, this is either going to break what we have left, or it was going to open a conversation.
Okay.
And I had to be okay with whatever outcome happened. Yeah. The second fear was my husband. We've been through a lot. I talk about our own struggles in my book that were traumatic to me and him. But was this going to bring up wounds for him? Was this going to hurt him in any kind of way? And the third was my safety. There were 2 men that were still incarcerated.
Oh, wow.
And when you've already been a target once, there's always that sense of insecurity that sits in the back of your head. And I thought, if I put myself back out there and I talk about this again, will there be retaliation? Could they come after me? And I had to sit back and think about what was the true reason behind writing this book. And the real reason I wrote the book was 2 things. One, people had my story in their head of who I was as a person, or how I should have handled certain things or been a certain way or whatever. And I finally got to the point where I was like, no, I want people to see me, all of me, and know who I really am, and see the resiliency side, see that I was healing from this horrific tragedy. There was a lot of pain and anger in law enforcement community around my dad's death, even up to today.
Oh, wow.
Almost 40 years later. And I saw it, I saw it a lot. And I thought, if those people could see the resiliency, if those people can see that I rose from that and I was healing from that, and I got to the other side where it was no longer giving me pain anymore, that it would in some way help them heal.
Yeah, by showing them what's possible.
And then I expanded it out, and I thought, no, anyone who has gone through trauma needs to have the hope that I got that one day with my therapist, and know that they can heal from their trauma and they can take their power back. And all the things that I learned along the way, those people, the faceless people that are walking this earth right now, who have gone through trauma, who don't know where to start to get help, or they're afraid to get help, or they're not with the right therapist, or whatever the case is, I thought about those faceless people. And so anytime that fear would start to well up in me, I would see their faces out there that needed to hear my message. And it would allow me to bulldoze through the fear.
Wow.
And I was able to just keep going.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I'm just the conduit. I'm just the messenger, right? I got to a point where I realized in writing my book and speaking as well is that this is my purpose.
Yeah. In a very redemptive way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unexpected. Like I would
think,
Yeah.
Very didn't see this a mile away.
No, at all.
No.
Well, and it makes me wonder, because you talked on this a little bit of like, coming out of victimhood. And I would love for you to expand on it more, because there is a difference between being a legitimate victim of something awful that's happened and then living in a victim mentality, like a mindset that tends to keep us stuck. So how did you begin to recognize the difference in your own story and how you could like separate those two?
I think when I stopped having this happened to me and this is, this made my life so bad, and you know what I mean? It's the difference between gleaning the lessons in the experience and just sitting in it.
Okay.
And wallowing in it. And I'll give you an example. My mother and I no longer have a relationship. She cut it off after the book came out. She didn't like my truth.
Yeah.
And that's okay. I'm at peace. It's okay. But and I tell people this all the time, I feel like I lost my dad and my mom that night. Because what my mom did is she became my dad's widow.
Like her identity was in that. Okay.
And she will tell anyone our story. The difference between her and I is this, because she'll say that she threw this in my face before. Well, you tell the story. And I said, in a different concept. You tell the story because you want people to feel sorry for you. This is, yes, this terrible thing happened, but through this terrible thing, I found the purpose in my life.
Yeah.
And so that's the difference. That's the victim mentality and the survivor mentality.
It's such a great picture you're painting of what this looks like, because I feel like people can get caught in a couple different camps. Like one of them is more clearly what you described as with your mom, where they can get stuck in the self-pity and where they're sharing it with everybody. They're sharing the story of what happened with so many people. So it's not that they're not having an empathetic witness and someone be able to like hear and hold their pain. It's like there's just this sense of, for whatever reason, there can be countless ones that they're not willing to get up out of that after being heard and having the empathetic witness to keep moving. And then there's the other side of people who just keep it in and they don't really want to talk about it. And they try to just skip over it and get to the other side of like, somehow I could become resilient, never have to talk about it with a soul, and get to, living like resiliency and like not out of a victim mindset. However, that also keeps people stuck.
That's an override.
Yes, exactly.
And when you override, it's almost like compartmentalization, which I talk with law enforcement about a lot. It's like that, but sooner or later, behaviors are going to come out.
Yeah.
Something's going to come out, and you can't stave it away for your whole life.
Exactly, because it will inevitably come out. And even like you had said, you tried talking to that first therapist about it. However, he was not equipped with what you needed, and he didn't know how to hold your story with care at all. So then it came out in the panic attack and the anxiety, and then physically we can get very sick and ill. Like there's so many ways if we don't actually name it, deal with it, go find the safe people to hold our story and just be a safe place to land. Like, we can't get to the other side of resiliency and coming out where we're no longer in that victimhood mentality. And I feel like you can also speak on, well, I know you can, like with the resiliency piece of what that really means to you because of coaching your own experience, but you've also coached a lot of other people in this. So how would you describe resiliency beyond just being strong?
I think for me, the resiliency is being able to hold myself first, and really recognize what's healthy and what's not, what serves me and what doesn't. And, you know, there's no, like, my eyes are wide open, right? Yeah. You're very aware of things. And also, I have these tools still. I have these things that, I mean, because I still have reactions. I still have things that happen, right? But now I can say, okay, I'm feeling this feeling, right? It's my nervous system is out of whack and I need to reel myself in again. I need to rein myself in again. And so I have the tools in order to do that now. I know what works for me. And in that's powerful.
Yes.
You know, when you're able to take yourself from a certain emotional state and change it, for the better. It's, you know, that's the resiliency side. That is recognizing what works for you and what is healthy for you. And I mean, for God's sake, like, I'm seeing a lot of people where their trauma is being pulled out right now because of everything that's going on in the world. And there's so many different, you know, insecurities and just fear that I'm seeing a lot of people with a lot of fear. And some of my friends are like, how do you stay so calm?
That's a great question.
I said, well, I limit myself, right? I have a lot, I'm on TikTok, but I watch puppy videos, kitty videos, and like jumping
to counter
goats.
it.
You know what I mean? Like to counter all the negativity stuff. It's not that I'm not taking it in, because I am taking it in, but I'm limiting myself to what I'm taking in. And because I can see things differently and clearly, I don't get caught up in it. And you know, when I'm feeling out of control or I'm feeling that fear or whatever, I go stick my feet in grass. Like, I ground myself with nature.
That's good.
And I've taught my husband to do the same. Like, you need to go be with nature. This is what we're going to do, you know, and it is helpful. It is, you know, it is important for us to keep grounded. And I've been able to stay calm, which that's where people are like, what kind of sorcery is that? And and I honestly can't explain it. I can't. I just know that, you know, I've been in really bad situations. So I have to tell myself that it's not always going to be this way, right?
Yeah.
And it will get better. And, you know.
Yeah. I think that's really helpful because it's also practical. You know, it's very practical things. And I've wondered, and I would imagine some of these are part of that, but I don't know if you want to expand on it more, because you have learned how to manage PTSD, which was what drew you even to the therapist, to be like, oh, that's possible. Like, I don't have to just go all out in a panic attack, like blindsided.
Right.
So what would you say has helped you the most? And what would you say to someone who still feels stuck in PTSD? With, like, you know, just can't seem to get out, can't seem to regulate and calm themselves down.
You know, it's funny. I'll tell you this story, because when I first went to this new therapist, she knew I was a hot mess. Like, I had everything going on, right?
The mask came off. You're like, here I am.
Yeah, I was like, here I am. And she was a smart woman, and she knew that she couldn't, like, throw the kitchen sink at me. Like,
okay.
So what we did is we took baby steps. And she said, okay, you need to tell me, what is the dire thing? What is the one thing that you're struggling with right now?
Yeah.
That if we address that, then the other things can come along afterwards. And at the time, I wasn't sleeping. Rest is really, really important for mental health. And I wasn't sleeping. And so that was throwing my nervous system off, which was causing the anxiety, which was, you know, and what would happen is at night, the minute I saw it get dark outside is when the anxiety started to rise up. And I thought, oh my God, I got to go to bed now.
Yeah.
Which is not a normal thing to thinking of.
Escape the darkness at all costs.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I would literally rile myself up, you know, and every time I shut my eyes, I would go to that dark place, and that was what terrified me. And so then I wouldn't sleep. So she said, okay, we're going to address that. And I said, okay, thinking that she's going to give me a pill or she's going to give me whatever, right?
Yeah.
And she said, have you ever journaled before? And I looked at her like, what? And she said, have you ever journaled before? And I said, no, I haven't. Don't even know what it is. Like, what is that?
Define this.
And she said, well, you can do it in different ways. Some people write, some people do art, and some people do music. Now they're podcasters. And I said, no, I haven't done any of that. And she said, okay, well, what's your flavor? Like, what do you like to do? And I said, well, I'll write. I write. And she said, great. Go get a pad of paper and a pen, put it by your bed. Before you go to bed, I want you to take everything that's swirling around in that head of yours and put it on the paper. She's like, don't worry about punctuation. Don't worry about spelling. Like, it doesn't even have to make sense. Just put it on the paper. And I didn't want to admit it. It's like, this could
it be this?
What?
Yeah.
So when I went to see her the following week, she said, how did it go? And I said, I've been sleeping for 4 days. She said, great. Keep going. And I said, all right. And that one baby step, that one little thing that I thought was nuts and woo-woo and whatever actually works. It actually works. So if I can tell anyone that deals with that, this is what you should try.
That's so good. That's so good. And it's practical, and it doesn't have to take long. Like what you said, it can be messy, incoherent.
Right.
Like anything. That is so good. I'm so glad you were able to share that, because it is a practical tool. And like we were saying, like being equipped with these tools is so important for when, we get caught off guard and learning to manage PTSD. So thank you. And I know you've been talking about, as we're like wrapping up this conversation, you've been mentioning your book, The Other Side of the Gun. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah. So that was born out of this feeling of wanting to help others through this journey of healing from trauma. And The Other Side of the Gun, my concept for that was I wanted to take something that was so horrific and create something beautiful out of it. So The Other Side of the Gun is how I got it, the concept of the title, and then the rest is my journey from trauma to resiliency. Yeah.
And it's out right now?
It is. It came out in January of 23. It's on Amazon. It's paperback form. It's in Kindle form. And I did go into a studio, and it is on Audible.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
I'm a big Audible person.
Yeah.
I can like listen to so many more books that way.
Yeah, so that was a whole journey in itself, doing my own narration.
Oh, yeah.
But I was told the more people started to read my book, they said, because I was going to hire an actress, I was going to hire somebody to read it. And they were like, oh, no. No.
Yeah.
This needs to be you, your voice. It's your story. It needs to be you. So.
Oh, that's so
I was
good.
like, okay,
Yeah, that's a big feat. I mean, to be able to, because I think you said it was like 4.5 years or so of getting the book written. And then to be like, okay, next level.
Yeah.
I'm going to be the voice recording this.
Yeah.
It's significant. And I'm so glad it's out there. Where can people find you to connect with you more and learn more and possibly even receive coaching from you?
Yeah, so I have a website. It's my one-stop shop, I should say. It's susansnowspeaks.com. And it has information on my speaking. It also has information on my coaching. I do offer a free 40-minute discovery call with anyone.
Awesome.
Whether you just want to pick my brain, maybe you're just starting the process or you're not sure, or you've gone through the therapy part and kind of where I got to, where you're a different person and you still feel stuck. Where do I go from here? That's where I step in. So I do that 40-minute discovery call with you, and then also has a little bit of information about my book on there as well.
Oh, great. Okay. Yeah, it is really a one-stop shop. I love that.
Yeah.
They can get everything that they need in one place. I'll include that in the show notes as well.
Okay.
So it's just easy for people to find. Susan, thank you so much for sharing your story just so openly and honestly, because we really need that. And unfortunately, it's so rare, but that is what we need to heal and for further freedom. So I know that any woman, any person that would be listening to this, that who've gone through anything similar, that they'll just feel seen and like there really is hope for them. So thank you so much.
For sure.
And thanks so much for listening, friend. I cannot wait to talk with you next time. Until then. Thanks for listening to Let's Get Real. If you've been feeling stretched thin, stuck in survival mode, or like you've lost yourself in motherhood, I made something just for you. It's called the Overwhelmed Mom's Guide, and it's totally free. Inside, I walk you through simple steps to help you reconnect with who you are, find a bit more breathing room in your day, and start to feel like you again. You can grab it now. Just click the link in the show notes. You don't have to keep doing this alone. Let's take the next step together.